Hey y'all, my name is Taquisha. This is Our Freedom Song, and I am so happy that you are here. So today is so fun. This is such a fun video. I have so much to show you. One of those things that's really, really great. Okay, so I know that some of I am going to be stocking up our mesh dryer right here with some herbs, and I have a new herb. So I've never grown this, never harvested it, and I am so excited about it because I was doing some research and looking it up, and it has some very, very good medicinal uses, and so I can't wait to show you. I also have a garden update to show you guys. Major changes in the garden, and I cannot wait for you to see it. I cannot wait to read what you guys think about the changes in the garden. I think it's for the best. I am changing and expanding in a way. I guess not really expanding. It's still the same space, but it does look a lot different, and my ideas and plans have morphed into something new, and I'm very hopeful, especially with the rabbits that's been just tearing up the garden. Just that experience this last spring, I think that this is going to be an absolute game changer. So during the last video, I showed you guys that I bought beds from Amazon, and they were pretty inexpensive, and I did put the link to that. I'll add it to this video as well if you want to know where to find these beds. They were on sale. I don't know how often they do a sale, but y'all know that Prime Day is coming up, like October 8th and 9th, and so that might be a great day to catch a sale on these beauties. That's such a good price to have a 2-foot bed, a 3x6, and so I can't wait to show you that as well. Lots of things in this video. I planted 5 new blueberry bushes as well as 2 new fig trees inside of our container garden. The first dump. I don't know if you've heard the saying, many hands make light work, but it is so true. I am so grateful for all the many hands that help bring my vision to life. So although the walkways are much larger, I don't feel like I have that much less growing space. I do love that it feels nice and spacious. I think that I'm going to appreciate that even more whenever spring comes and the garden is bursting at the seams. Okay, so now that you guys have a good idea where I am going with this design, we'll come back to this later. Okay, so let me show you the herb that I am talking about. here she is. So this herb is actually called Mexican sage. From my research, I am learning that it is full of antioxidants which promote both oral health as well as brain function. And I know I need some extra brain function. I mean, can I get an amen? The flowers are actually really furry. Love that about it. I think it's just the coolest thing. I was actually really surprised because I don't see a lot of herbs that promote dental hygiene or dental health, oral health, which I think is just the coolest thing. Sage actually kills that bacteria in your mouth. I guess it's time for me to make some mouthwash, y'all. Listen, I also read that sage also helps with like menopausal symptoms, y'all. I mean, we need to know about this. We need to know about the benefits of stuff that's going to help us with hot flashes and hormone imbalance and all the things. So it's actually believed that compounds in sage has estrogen-like properties, allowing them to bind to certain receptors in your brain to help improve memory and treat hot flashes and excessive sweating. I will take a good dose of me some sage right about now. So overall, sage is really great. It's high in antioxidants. It supports oral health and it aids in brain function. It lowers blood sugar and cholesterol levels. I think we have a winner. And not only that, it's absolutely beautiful. I would love to know if you grow sage or if you use sage and what you use it for. Also, if you have found personally from your own experience the benefits that are found inside of sage. If that has happened for you, please leave your testimony down below in those comments because we all want to know. So a cool thing about this Mexican sage is that it's a perennial, y'all. So that means I don't have to replant this. This is going to keep coming back every year. And I just love that. I think I am starting to really consider perennials more than I ever have before because I just love that you don't have to do anything. Goodness, so I would say it is really hard not to just go inside and pop this in a vase. Look at how gorgeous these are. I cannot get over it. Oh my goodness, so beautiful, so whimsical. But I'm going to dry them so that I can use them medicinally for teas and tinctures and all the things. So I just have to enjoy the beauty right now, darling. Okay, so I know that some of you asked how I preserve the harvest, such as like herbs and things like that. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse it off, and I'm actually going to place this inside of our mesh dehydrator. I will find a similar one to what I have on Amazon and leave the link down below so that you can find it easily if you are looking for a mesh hanging dehydrator. What I love about it is that it doesn't use any electricity and your herbs are covered up. So I like that a little better than just hanging it, say like in the kitchen free, because it's exposed to whatever's floating in the kitchen. It's kind of a little different if you have some protection with the mesh, but to each his own. I've done all of it. I'm just talking about my own preferences. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to rinse this off, and then I'm going to put it inside of our mesh dryer so that it can dry. And like I said, it's so hard not to just pop this into a vase. Oh my goodness, because this is the most beautiful bouquet I've ever made for sure. And all I did was just cut the stems, and if I had known that it was going to be this amazing sooner, I would have been cutting it all along. So I actually don't use any pesticides or any sprays. So this is 100% all grown organically. I also wanted to point out that this doesn't have any bug damage, which is pretty amazing. So nothing hunted this out, which is really incredible. And this Mexican sage actually multiplies on its own. And so next year we should have more stems popping up that I will be able to transplant anywhere I want. Okay, so I also have some lemon balm in this bucket right here. I harvested this from a peculiar area in the yard. So I actually soaked it overnight just with some water and a little bit of baking soda to clean it. I drained it out this morning, and so now I'm actually going to be drying it inside of our mesh dryer as well. Also have a good bit of basil growing in this area. I actually grew a lot of Tulsi basil, which is holy basil, which is incredible. Like, the medicinal properties are incredible. But this basil in this bed right here, which is the perennial bed, I can say, you know what? I had that Tulsi basil and I put it over here. I remember putting it over here. I just don't know where else I put it. So I am going to harvest this Tulsi basil. So I am leaving all of the seed pods in the bed because I do want the Tulsi basil to grow back. I want this to be a perennial bed that is very beneficial to our family. And the herbs that I want to build up and grow, y'all. Oh my goodness, this smells so incredible. It smells so good. I love it. Yes, I love it. Oh my goodness. It smells so good. Like, aren't you just so happy when you actually get to harvest the thing that you've been like taking care of and growing? It's just so amazing. I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be able to do this. Oh, I'm so happy about it. And after I dry all of these herbs, I'm going to show you how I prepare them. And while I'm at it, I can just pull up these weeds. Now that I have harvested my herbs, I can clearly see the weeds that I'm just going to pull out. This is one of those beds that is going to have weeds every year because I'm not planning to put landscape fabric over it. So all of the seeds that's dropping down and all of the rhizomes that's growing underneath the soil, like from like the sage, can grow and produce more plants for us. And so this is not a bed I'm going to put landscape fabric down. It's a bed that I'm going to have to weed because weeds are going to grow. I'm also going to take my seed pods from this Tulsi basil and sprinkle it along the ground in this bed so that it just grows back. This is our Tulsi basil harvest from this bed, and I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait to make this into a tincture, as well as fill up a container with our dry herbs. I took all of the seeds from this bunch right here and I just replanted them into the soil. So next year, whenever spring comes, they will start growing on its own and that's the beauty of this. So our basil is actually not a perennial, it is an annual, so you have to replant the seeds. But the beautiful thing is the seeds are actually so easy to sow. They come in these little pods and you pull against the grain of the plant and the seeds are there, and you just sprinkle them. Okay, here's some. They will typically turn brown. You pull up, that's going to give you all the little pods. All of those pods have seeds in them. You take that and you either save it or you can sprinkle it onto the ground, which is what I'm doing because I'm trying to make less work for myself every year. I know that holy basil is something that I want to continuously grow, so I don't need to save these seeds. I just need to sprinkle them because this is our perennial bed. Okay, so I know I mentioned this in a recent video as far as harvesting our lemongrass. So I'm actually going to leave this bunch right here of lemongrass, but I'm going to harvest this big bunch. And I didn't realize that, as I explained in the last video, that when you harvest, it's actually down here at the roots. It's something like this that you're harvesting. I'm going to leave this and overwinter it so that it can spread and grow more next year. But this is what I want. I want that thick piece of stalk that we find in the grocery store whenever we go for lemongrass. And so this is what I want. The fragrance is absolutely amazing. I still will take these and use the actual grass of the plant, but this is the cream of the crop right here, y'all. And although I would love to just cook with these, I'm actually going to make an oil because lemongrass is one of those things that's really, really great for pests as far as like mosquitoes. And so I want to make my own lemongrass mosquito repellent, and so that's what I'm going to aim for with homegrown lemongrass, because there's nothing stronger, right, than something that you grew at home, right? It's not going to be stronger than that. And so that is going to be my plan for this. I'm going to plan to make some type of oil base with our fresh lemongrass or our dried lemongrass. Going to dry it and then use it for a oil, and then we'll see how it goes. I'll definitely keep you posted. So our mesh dryer is officially all the way filled to the brim. far as the new area, let me show you. So I actually could not be happier with the gravel. It gives such a different feel and vibe. I decided that this is how I wanted to invest in our garden. I wanted it to be a space where I could feel like I wanted to be in and enjoy. I'm so happy about these beds. I'm so happy about these little seedlings of red clover, which is our cover crop. They are growing and popping through the soil. Like I told you in the last video, I'm going to be able to harvest this. Not only is it going to be good for the soil, but I'm going to be able to actually harvest our red clover and add that to our growing apothecary. And so using red clover was a win-win. Y'all, these is all the way up to here. When I stretch my arm down, my fingertips can touch them, so that's really great. I did plant some sweet peas inside of these beds. I have this trellis right here that they're going to grow up on. Are you okay, love? So my plan is actually to put some pots under here with rosemary and lavender, and so I'm excited about that. As you guys know, we planted this trellis is for our grapevine, and we decided to put this whole trellis here so that our grapes would have a place to go. So I will have all this space for a nice bushy plant. So I'm excited about having some perennial herbs in pots over here, as well as I planted some perennials in the actual ground. So these two are blueberry plants. And then on this side, I have two more blueberry plants that are going to fill in very nicely. I also put our Thornless Blackberries right next to this trellis, which I'm excited about. If you didn't see that video, I purchased these blackberry bare roots from Amazon, and I was able to get 2 for $22, which was, I feel like, an incredible price. And so 3 of the 4 are doing really good. This one is looking kind of dead, but we'll see how that happens. If I have to order a new one for there, I will. I planted a fig tree behind this trellis because I felt like that is going to be such a beautiful place to have a fig tree growing. I am going to put some flowers here whenever it's springtime. I'm going to put some flowers, and I think that that's going to be so beautiful, such a beautiful entry to this space. I also planted a couple more trees back here. Well, this is a bush, this is a blueberry bush, and then I planted a fig tree here. This is not going to stay, but I planted a fig tree there and a blueberry here, and I feel like that is going to be such a great use of space actually. And then we have our file cabinet planters. We have not filled them with soil, but I have filled them with pine straw, as well as just some of the different foliage that died, like our bean plants. We went ahead and put inside of this space. And I'm also going to be laying out our irrigation system, so that's kind of just flopped over everywhere because I have to do that. But yes, all of our file cabinet planters are in place, and I'm so excited about this area. I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous, and here's why. Because these are our trellises that I put up right at the end of this bed. So I feel like doing it this way is going to actually provide like a corridor per se. So when something's growing up this and something's growing up that, walking down that little aisle right there is just going to feel so magical and so beautiful. I'm thinking that in these planters, I'm going to grow bulbs. So I want to grow something that's perennial over there, and then maybe I can grow the bulbs in the back, and then I could also plant herbs in the front, because I want this to be a very fragrant area so that we can combat some of the mosquitoes over here. And so I want to plant as many perennials as I can. but this space is completely transforming so beautifully. Hey you guys, so it's the next day and I am still hard at work. I'm about to take care of this basil and these leftover tomatoes inside this bed. I'm going to compost what I can, get rid of the rest. This is what the bed looks like. It has a ton of basil seeds. And so, but there's also some tomato plants growing in there. I won't keep them. They're not diseased, but I still won't keep them and put in any compost pile. This space is always really, really full with pollinators, bees of all types, not only just the friendly ones. And so I'm really leery of getting in here and pulling it out, but I need to pull all this out because this bed is actually filled with soil that I'm actually going to use to spread out so that I can plant some things in the bed right next to it. So I need to pull this out. So I am going to be keeping our strawberry plants and just relocating these. So I ended up using almost, it's like half of the soil that was in this bed to put soil over here, as well as top off this bed. This one already had some soil from the ground, but I just wanted to add some of this compost on top. Now I'm going to get some of that vermiculite as well as some perlite to add aeration and some water absorption to both of these beds, and that's what I'm about to do now. The reason why I am getting those two beds all the way ready is so that I have a place to transplant some of these starts. It's so thick inside the green stock, and I quickly realized that I was not going to have enough room anywhere to be able to take as many plants out of our 3 green stalks as I could. So I'm gonna use those other 2 beds to put these into so that we could save as much as possible. This is our bulk vermiculite, and like I said, this is for water absorption, and this is our bulk perlite, and this helps aerate the soil, make it drainable. If you don't know what aerate means, it's okay. And then I just wanted to show you real quick, I mean, you saw in this video me put these inside of the mesh dryer yesterday, and they're already crispy. It's crisping up already, and it's just one day, so very cool. Oh man. I tried. Okay, so I just watered this so it can be nice and soft. So when I go to take out all of these little seedlings, the roots don't break. But I'm going to take out the pak choi as well as the kale and then plant them. So I went ahead and made all my holes about 6 inches apart, and there are 13 rows and I get to fit 7 in each row, so that's 91. I can plant 91 crops in this bed 6 inches apart. So I have to say that that was the first time I've ever been able to like sit down in a chair and plant a whole bed out. That was pretty epic. I appreciate being able to sit. That is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me in the garden. I hope I covered all of the questions. There were several things that you guys asked me, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to cover it in this video. And so I do hope that it's helpful, that you are inspired to get out there and to garden. Okay, until next time, my friends.